there are a lot of things you got to know about resistance training. It's not like just jump on and do it, which you can do with walking or getting on the elliptical or getting on the bike. We know that resistance training can be more difficult because there's all these like picky things about it. Like, well, which exercises do I do? Do I do machines or do I do weights? Do I do the bands? Should I move quickly or slow? Should I do a weight training class? There's all these things. But here's the thing. Resistance training is the thing that will improve, maintain your function and your strength.
Welcome to the Exercise is Health podcast, where we're talking about exercise, health, and the interconnectedness of the two. We are your hosts, Charlie
and Julie,
and we will be coming to you every single week from our studio, Muscle Activation Schaumburg. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Exercise is Health podcast. We are your hosts, Charlie
and Julie,
and we're coming to you from our studio, Muscle Activation Schaumburg in Schaumburg, Illinois. Now, at Muscle Activation Schaumburg, we believe your health is your most valuable asset. Your health is one of the biggest influencers of the quality and quantity of time that you have. And while there are many aspects of health, our expertise is exercise. Exercise has been proven time and again to not only improve your health, but also increase your longevity and improve your quality of life. And today we are talking about an exercise-related topic, specifically for those of you who are 50 plus. Because we had this question sent in saying, hey, the new year's coming up and I want to start exercising. I'm over 50 years old and I haven't exercised consistently before. What recommendations do you have for me as far as things I can do? And so we want to address this not with exercise specifics, but more with exercise parameters for you to follow if you feel like you're in this category of 50 plus and starting a new workout routine.
Charlie, I have to say, I think our clientele mostly is 50 plus, actually. Mm-hmm. And this is such an interesting age range because if you're listening to this and you're 50 plus, you're not old and your body still has a great opportunity to adapt to exercise. Like everyone that we see that starts with us in their 50s, they respond great and they always get stronger, become more functional. They have the opportunity to lose weight still. It's really great. And we see a lot of people in their 50s usually from a few experiences. Number one, they've gone to like their 50, 51, 52-year-old checkup at the doctor, and the doctor's like, all right, it's now time. You need to be exercising, which absolutely everyone needs to be exercising. But after the age of 50, well, I'd like to say probably after the age of 40 is when most people start seeing a decline in their natural strength and ability to function without doing something proactive about it. So 50 years old is a really great time to start exercising for that reason. But also, the other thing that we notice is we have a lot of clients coming in that notice that they were intending to do something and then they realized that they couldn't do it. For example, go on vacation and do some activity that was asked of them during a tour or playing with a grandkid or something like that. And they felt like they should be able to do it and they physically could not. And so exercise is a great way and a great intervention to help keep your function, get yourself stronger, and really combat the natural decline of your physical body after the age of 50.
Right on. So let's get into these parameters. We have 3 of them for you. And the first one that we're going to kick it off with is to make sure that you are prioritizing resistance training over cardio. And this is a really important one. So often the easy kind of low-hanging fruit of exercise is to hop on the elliptical or to hop on the bike or to hop on the treadmill and, do 10, 15, 20 minutes. And, that's just how you start. That's how you get it done. And that's totally fine and well. There's nothing wrong with that unless that's the only thing that you're doing. And there are issues with only doing cardio with not doing resistance training, especially when you're 50 plus. So we want to encourage you to start prioritizing doing resistance training versus prioritizing cardio. Cardio is fine and well, but if you're really looking to make an impact, a positive impact for your health in 2020, then prioritizing resistance training over cardio will be the thing to help you do that.
Now, if you just heard what Charlie said, yes, he said to prioritize resistance training. And the thing that we know, which is why Charlie said the low-hanging fruit is the cardio, which is, I thought that was funny when you said that. Anyways, with the resistance training, there are a lot of things you got to know about resistance training. It's not like just jump on and do it, which you can do with walking or getting on the elliptical or getting on the bike. We know that resistance training can be more difficult because there's all these like picky things about it. Like, well, which exercises do I do? Do I do machines or do I do weights? Do I do the bands? Should I move quickly or slow? Should I do a weight training class? There's all these things. But here's the thing. Resistance training is the thing that will improve, maintain your function and your strength. These are both things that are naturally declining. If you're listening to this, they are naturally declining if you're over the age of 40. So if you're in their 50s, you've already started to decline. You got to be doing something proactive about this. And this is what resistance training does. So make sure you're prioritizing that resistance training. It's really important to find some guidance. We have a virtual membership program you can check out where you do all the stuff in your living room or at your house to get your assessment done. And we'll give you some assignments. Find a personal trainer that you trust. Find someone or find something that can guide you through this resistance training, because it is the most important thing. It is way more potent than cardio, hands down, in terms of function and building muscle.
Now, Julie, one thing that you said that I think is super, super important for people to understand is the strength component. You say, okay, resistance training helps to build your strength because as you age, your strength is going to naturally decline. And this is a huge thing because if there's one aspect of our physical function that oftentimes has a tremendous impact over our quality of life, it's our physical strength. Now, you don't need to be able to, deadlift 300 pounds or anything like that, but you need to be strong enough to do the things that you want to do. And so often we don't really relate strength to the things that we want to do. We just assume that, well, our body can do those things, but your body has to be strong enough to do those things. And if you've ever seen somebody who doesn't have the strength to do the things they want to do, we normally say, oh, that person's getting old or something like that. And usually when we start to hit over 50, if our body's on the decline, those are the same thoughts that we may be having about ourselves. It's like, oh, my body is starting to age. Oh, I'm starting to feel old. And oftentimes what that is your body is starting to lose its strength. And so by engaging in resistance training on a consistent basis and by prioritizing resistance training over cardio, you can help to rebuild your strength, which can help you to do the things that you want to keep doing in life. And that is what is going to help to boost and maintain your quality of life.
Now, some of the benefits of resistance training that we've already been alluding to, but let's just knock these out, is it improves your function, which can mean a lot of things. But what I think of when I think of improving your function and what I've seen resistance training do is change your ability to move in terms of like the distance. So range of motion gets better. It builds muscle, which obviously will create strength changes, which is amazing. Metabolic changes, which is great. And also one that's huge for aging, especially for women, is bone density. The one thing that builds bone density is when muscles pull on bones, which is when muscles are being challenged in the gym. Well, in your life, but also in the gym. So those are really the big benefits of resistance training. So make sure you're getting in that resistance training.
And just one other piece on that building muscle standpoint with the increasing the metabolism, if one of your goals is to drop some body fat, increasing your metabolism by building muscle is an absolute must. If you go back and listen to our podcast that we did with Dr. Ariyama about the science of obesity and weight loss, he says that you need to be doing resistance training to be able to build muscle, to be able to increase your metabolism. And so if one of your goals is, fat loss or weight loss for, the upcoming year, then making sure that you're doing resistance training, not just cardio to burn calories, but actually resistance training to build muscles so you can increase your metabolism, that is one of the most important things that you can do. So Julie, that's a really huge piece. Now, the second parameter that we want to go into is the idea of consistency. And we want to tell you that consistency is key. Consistency is key for your exercise. Okay, what do we mean by this? It means that we want you to be exercising in a manner that you can keep exercising. Not that you exercise and then you have to take a significant period of time off and then you can come back, you can exercise and then, your body breaks down. You have to take an extended period of time off. So exercising consistently is going to be the key that's going to help to build your health, that's going to help to build your function, and it's going to help to build your body in 2020. So make sure that when you go to the gym or when you work out, ask yourself if you can exercise in that manner consistently. And if the answer is no, then you need to change how you're exercising so that you can say, yes, I can do this way of exercising for the next week, the next month, the next year, and for the rest of forever. That would be ideal.
Now, there's two things to keep in mind for this consistency thing that Charlie just brought up. Number one, be aware, especially in the new year, for these time-restrained kicks. So, it might sound something like this: the 60-day challenge or the 30-day fix or whatever. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a time stamp placed on this thing, which means that you're not going to be doing it more than that allotted amount of time. There is no like kickstart, like, oh, let me kickstart my weight loss for, 1 month and then I'll just maintain. Or, oh, let me just, kickstart my workout plan, and commit for 60 days and then I'll just maintain. No. What we mean by consistency is from day one, do something that you can maintain for life. Because when you don't do it in a way that you can maintain for life, you will stop. That is just how it works. You will stop. Everyone stops. You're not the anomaly. So let's stack the cards in your favor and plan for that. I need to not do it for this time-restrained amount of time, but rather, starting from day one, do something that I can keep up with the consistency of. Now, the second thing I want you to be aware of is when we start moving, especially when you haven't moved for a long time, sometimes your body starts talking to you. And sometimes that talk is not that much fun, meaning you have some joints or muscles or areas of your body that don't really enjoy the new experience of exercise. You've got some aches, you've got some pains, you've got tight muscles. The advice I'd like to give you to keep up this consistency thing is don't ignore that stuff. Right when you feel like things are maybe not perfect, if you haven't recovered in maybe 2 days from after your exercise or from some weird feeling, go find a professional that can help you out. We find a lot of times with our MAT clients, the quicker that our clients get their issues addressed, the faster they recover, and also the less days of discomfort they have to experience. Not only that, is that they go back to their exercise stronger, more prepared, less vulnerable to injury the next time. Because what we often see is that, let's say you feel like your shoulder's starting to bother you while you exercise. Usually the answer is stretch it or don't do anything with it, right? So it's like, we'll avoid it. The problem with that is that it's going to build its vulnerability to injury, meaning you're avoiding it because it's uncomfortable, which I totally get. If your shoulder's hurting you, that's a sign don't do stuff. But it's also not a sign to do nothing with it, because when you do nothing with it, those muscles atrophy, which means that they get weaker and they get smaller, which is also not what we're looking for. So right when your body starts talking to you, find a professional that can help you. Obviously, Charlie and I love MAT. We use MAT for everything. But if you are not close to an MAT specialist, find someone that is able to guide you through that recovery.
Yeah, this is a really huge point, because you wouldn't believe the number of times that we talk with people and they say, well, I was exercising consistently and then I got hurt. And then that's just kind of the end of the story. It's not like, well, then I got hurt and then I recovered and then I got better and then I got back to exercise. So often that getting hurt piece, that's the thing that kind of stops people from exercising. And it's not like it was a massive trauma, that was, they had, a spinal fusion or some, huge surgery that happened that would be like, okay, yeah, I need to take a, extended period off of, any kind of exertion for my body. It's like, okay, they pulled a muscle or, they tweak something in their shoulder, it's something of that nature. And, with or without surgical intervention, but that was enough to say, okay, you know what, I need to stop exercising for the time being. And then they never got back on that horse. And so the point that you're making, Julie, is absolutely correct. Where, hey, if you're noticing that something's going on with your body, get on that thing sooner rather than later. Get your body checked out to make sure it doesn't grow into a bigger thing that will then stop you from working out, whether it's an injury or a more serious ache and pain or something like that. Okay. So that is a really, really big thing to making sure that you're able to exercise consistently, because we say it time and again, but it's true that your exercise can provide so many health benefits, but you're only able to get those health benefits of exercise if you're able to keep exercising. And so doing things proactively to make sure that you can keep exercising is going to be key to making sure that you're able to glean all the health benefits that you can get from exercise, and that you're able to exercise for the rest of your life. So you can keep getting the health benefit of exercise for the rest of your life.
Now, consistency is key. That's our point right now. Is also important when you are feeling those tweaks and aches and pains, because I don't know anyone that always feels perfect all the time. But it is not a reason to skip your workouts. It might mean that you change your workouts a little bit, but don't skip your workouts. It doesn't mean that your entire health has to suffer because one joint of your body is not feeling great. So definitely, if you are feeling funky, some area of your body feels tweaked, find a professional to help you, but keep exercising. That is the biggest thing that we see as a reason that people fall out of exercise. So don't get caught in that trap.
Well, yeah, and I mean, there's good evidence to suggest that exercise produces neurotransmitters that actually block pain receptors. So if there is something that's like hurting or not feeling well, exercising can actually help to make that thing feel better. And you don't want to exercise to a level where you make it worse. So that's where the guidance of a professional, and make sure you're getting checked out and cleared for exercise and everything like that. But if you are achy, if you are feeling stiff, if you are feeling sore, if something's not feeling right, get yourself checked out, but get moving. There's actually legitimate evidence to suggest that is super helpful. So no, you're definitely right on with that suggestion, Julie.
Excellent. So be consistent. Our third parameter is to incorporate active recovery, which means that in your routine of being active and exercising, that you're intentionally giving your body opportunities to recover. And you can do a whole bunch of things for this, meaning take days off from exercise, varying intensity of exercise, including another day of an activity, for example, including some MAT. That's a really great one. So find a way that you are not just using exercise to challenge your body to make those improvements, but also using some exercise and movement to recover from your exercise.
Yeah, I really like this one, because I think one of the most common things that I see with people who exercise consistently, so going back to our last parameter, but what they do is they also prioritize their recovery. And so often when it's kind of outside looking in, all we see is the stuff that, people are like the high level stuff people are doing, whether they're doing the sprints or they're doing the box jumps or they're lifting the weights or, whatever it is that they're doing. But we miss all the time that they spend actively promoting their recovery so they can go back and they can do that again. And it's across the board with the people that I know that exercise on a really consistent basis, whether they are in their, mid 20s and they're a professional athlete, or they're in their mid 50s and they exercise every single day. They build in time throughout their week to help promote their recovery, because that's what's going to allow them to keep exercising. That's what's going to allow them to keep getting the benefits, the health benefits of exercise, is by being able to recover from their workouts so they can go back and they can challenge their bodies again. So this is a really, really big thing. If you feel like you don't recover well from your workouts, if you feel like you are always achy and beat up and sore from your workouts, yes, you may need to reevaluate how you're working out, but adding in something to help you recover from your workouts, like muscle activation techniques, can be a huge thing that will help you continue to work out on a regular basis.
Another way that you can incorporate recovery right into your exercise plan is to vary the intensity. I think one of the biggest misconceptions we think about exercise is that every time you show up to the gym, it's the day you do 1000% effort. And that is completely wrong. There are some days it is a day to push yourself and to challenge you and to really work your body. Other days, it's very important to do a light day, do a lighter day. Charlie does light weeks. So he'll go hard for a couple weeks and then do a really light week, which is a great idea. It lets everything recover and rejuvenate. And another thing you can think about too is when you're not feeling your best, maybe you woke up kind of groggy, you didn't get enough sleep, maybe you're not feeling completely nourished, maybe you're feeling a lot of aches and pains everywhere. That is a great day to go to the gym and do a recovery day. One rule of thumb we give to our clients is do what you would have normally done at 50%. So half the weight, half the reps, half the time. It's enough to get things stimulated, which can make you feel better without doing enough that it's actually breaking down your body to have to recover. So use that 50% rule as your light days so that you also get to actively recover during your exercise plan.
Yeah, I really like this example because it is the thing that will help you continue to exercise on a regular basis is if you build in pre-planned recovery time. Now, look, you can go about it such that, okay, if you wake up and you're not really feeling it, you can take some time off, and that's totally fine and well. But the trap that I see people falling into with that is, well, they wake up and they're just not feeling it, so they don't go into the gym. And then the next day they wake up and they're still not quite feeling it, so they don't go into the gym. And it just becomes this perpetual thing where, well, I'm just not quite feeling it, so I'm not going to go into the gym. As opposed to saying, you know what, I'm going to take this whole week, I'm going to go into the gym, but I'm going to do really light workouts. And you pre-plan it ahead of time. So what I used to do in college is I would do 3 weeks of really heavy, really intense training. And then the fourth week, I'd do the same workout, but I would do it at 70% of the weight. And so I would do the same workout that I did. I'd use 70% of the weight. And like Julie was saying, it was enough to stimulate my body, not annihilate my body. It was a light stimulus. It was not an extreme challenge. And then by the time that week ended, I was ready to go hard again for another 3 weeks. And so you can play with that. And for you, you might decide, hey, you know what? I'm going to do 4 really hard workouts, and then my 5th workout is going to be a lighter workout, and then 4 really hard, whatever. You can play with it, but kind of pre-planning it ahead of time. One, that recovery day or that recovery week is coming up. So you can say, you know what? I might be in my head and telling myself I'm not feeling it today. So, but I know my recovery day or my recovery week's coming up. So instead of sitting here saying, oh, I'm not feeling it today, I'm just going to watch Netflix, I'm going to be like, you know what? I know that next week everything's going to be a lot lighter. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to get it in today. And then I know next week is going to be the time when I recover. So it can help you kind of ward off the perpetual, oh, I'm just not feeling it today. Additionally, having it pre-planned like that will help to keep you consistent because you're not just flat out taking time off. You're still going in, you're still getting in a light workout, you're allowing your body to recover. And I tell you what, when I would get to the end of those recovery weeks, I was looking forward to working out hard again because, like I said, it was a little bit of a stimulus, but it allowed my body to kind of get back to its baseline. And so I was ready to go again.
Great. So just to wrap up, our 3 parameters was prioritize resistance training over cardio. Consistency is key. And the last is include active recovery. Now, we don't normally do this, but actually, I'm going to ask Charlie a question that we didn't discuss pre-recording.
Oh.
I know. Here we go. Charlie, what do you think? Which of these 3 do you think that, in your experience, people struggle the most with?
Whether it's prioritize resistance training, consistency, or doing the active recovery?
Correct. Which do you think?
I think the active recovery is probably done the least. Okay. I think the prioritizing resistance training that's only really done by kind of select demographics of people. But I think the thing that people kind of struggle with the most actually is making sure they're exercising in a manner where they can keep exercising. And that's what we see so often is people will go through these spurts of being really excited about exercise. And so they'll go really hard and then they'll lose their excitement. And so then they won't exercise. And so it kind of ebbs and flows. And so finding a way that you can exercise consistently, I think that's the thing that people struggle with the most, whether it's schedule wise, whether it's, motivation wise or interest wise, or just doing it so your body feels good. But that's the thing that I see that people struggle with the most. I think people can buy into the idea of resistance training and the active recovery piece just isn't talked about enough in general. So I think people just kind of skip that. But I think for what they're aware of, the consistency is a thing that they don't do enough.
I agree. I was going to say that one as well. And yeah, I agree. So the active recovery, I don't think that a lot of people aren't doing it. And I think mostly because a lot of people don't exercise. Mm-hmm. Like most people in the world don't exercise. So most people don't do active recovery from their exercise. And then, resistance training is, of course, hit or miss. But I think the consistency, we see that the most. And I think that one is the most potent in good ways and in bad ways. Meaning that when people fall off their consistency, I feel like it's just this downward spiral usually. Like, it might be like I've had clients in the past say, oh, it's the holidays, it's so busy now. And then, they take a month off and then their system is a lot weaker. And then I've even had people get injured because of that. And then they're off for another 3 months. And it's like, okay, well, now we just spent a whole half of year with you not getting any stronger. And because you're over 50, you're getting weaker. Mm-hmm. So that is really not good. Yeah. So I was going to agree with that. And so I'm glad that you said that. But I wanted to ask you, Candid, to see if we were on the same page.
I appreciate the question, and I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yes.
Awesome. So who do you know that needs to hear this episode? Who do you know that is approaching 50, that's over 50, that's interested in starting to exercise on a regular basis, but is not really sure where to start? Send this episode with them so they can hear our top 3 parameters of things that they need to keep in mind if they're going to start exercising on a regular basis in 2020. And while you're online, if you wouldn't mind, head on over to iTunes and leave us a rating and review. It helps people who are looking for podcasts on health and who are looking for podcasts on exercise find our podcast because it helps us show up higher in those search results. So if you found value in this conversation today, let us know by leaving us that 5-star rating and review. Hey, happy holidays, everybody. I know this is coming out on Christmas. If you're celebrating Christmas or you're listening to it today, Merry Christmas, happy holidays, regardless of your choice of celebration. We appreciate you all so very much for tuning in every single week. And we'll talk with you all next week, next year, next month, next decade in 2020.